Okay guys, so the weather has finally cleared up and the floodwaters have finally gone down a bit, so I can finally take out the Ultimate Bait Finesse combo on its first trial run. Now just to recap, I put together the Ultimate Bait Finesse combo using these items right here. The Queen Teton TTC 5'10", and I don't even know how to classify the rod rating. I guess it's going to be super extra ultralight because it's got a lure rating of only 0.3 grams to 3 grams maximum. And I paired it with the Ultimate Bait Finesse reel that has the best brakes in my opinion, the 2016 Shimano ALDEBARAN. And I modified the ALDEBARAN with the Avail spool. It's currently the lightest spool in the world. And of course I ran the extra magnets that Avail recommends and the Hedgehog Air BFS bearing. And I spooled it up with 2-pound P-line Fluoroclear. And this line is so thin, feels like human hair. So hopefully it's strong enough. But the goal of putting all this together was to be able to cast this lure right here, the 1 gram trout magnet. And I guess there were 2 goals: to cast this at least 10 yards, and the second goal was cast it with good fishability and accuracy and consistency. So what is that, 4 goals? So yeah, I've tried this with the Abu Garcia REVO before, and that was kind of a 50-50 success failure. I think I achieved the 10 yards, but the consistency was not there. The accuracy was kind of 50-50. And yeah, so I decided to put this together to see if this is going to be a success or if I wasted several $100s putting this together. Okay guys, so we got the trout magnet tied on. I'm going to put a picture of this, what it weighs with the snap swivel on the screen for you. And we are going to start out with the brakes all the way to maximum. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, that was pretty bad. The brakes were so strong they pulled the lure off to the left, which is a good thing. It's a good thing. That means we can go down. Let's go down to 5. Still going off to the left. It's probably going 30 feet though already. Okay, so we're gonna go down to, let's say, 4.5. Okay, that landed over there, and that's got to be going at least 30 foot. Hopefully you guys can see where that's landing. The accuracy is still off. I need to, I guess, adjust my release point. Pow! I think we have success, guys. That had to have went over 40 foot, probably close to 45 foot. And there was no issue with the spool at all. This spool is ridiculous. Okay, we're gonna go down to 4, see what happens here. Pow, that thing went out at least 50 foot, I'm estimating. That is ridiculous. Oh my God. Okay, let's go this way. Shit, it went off to the left again. I think there was some wind there. But man, this little trout magnet is firing out there like a bullet. Okay, let's try again. Okay, the wind carried it, but that's going out there at least 50 foot. I'm gonna have to take this out and do some cast measurements. Okay guys, I'm gonna try some overhead casts now, just to see what happens. Make sure there's no branches over my head. Okay, here we go. Okay, not bad. Definitely not going as far as the sidearm cast though. It's kind of disappointing. Okay, that's a little bit better, but it looks like to me that sidearm cast was probably getting at least 5 foot farther. Now this rod doesn't seem to like overhead casts. Now it looks like a toothpick, but it's still really stiff. But it's got a really flexible tip, and I think that tip is what's allowing us to cast this lure. Okay, let's go down on the brakes a little bit more, because you know me, I like to push the limits. Okay, the spool started getting unruly there. Distance probably, I would say 50 foot. So if that's really 50 foot, then this is a resounding success. Okay, so I think we found the limits there. Hopefully I can pick out this overrun. Now with line this thin, you would think I would have to worry about it going between the spool and the frame. But this spool is so well made that I don't really have to worry about that, it seems like. Okay, so let's turn these brakes back up. Okay, we'll go back to almost 4 and see what happens here. Nope, I think we got to go back all the way to 4. Okay, we're going back up to 4. Now this lure seems very, I guess, sensitive to brake adjustments, which is not surprising since it's so light. Okay, let's see what happens now. Wow. Okay guys, you think that's a good fishable distance? I think so. Just firing it out there, and I just have zero worries about backlash. I wish I could do an overhead cast. I just have to adjust my release point, I guess. The one thing I can definitely say is I'm holding back a little bit because this handle is so thin. I feel like I'm gonna just throw this rod out into the lake. Now, if Koying is watching, when you do the next generation of this rod, please give us a regular handle. Pow. Okay, I'm gonna try some overhead. Okay guys, so now what we're going to do here is we're going to throw the trout magnet without the snap swivel. So where I go fishing for trout, it's usually really clear, and that snap swivel will probably scare off some fish. So we're going to try to throw this lure without the snap swivel and see what happens. Okay, so I'm going to turn the brakes to 5 just to be safe and see how it does, and then we'll back them down from there. Okay, that Went a decent distance, but the accuracy was off. Okay, there we go. That probably went at least 30 foot. I'm trying to cast into this shadow here so you guys can see where this thing is landing. Let's go to 4.5, see what happens. I think I can go lower. Okay, I just have to get my accuracy down, and that thing's probably going a good 40 foot. Spool has no issue. Now the one thing about this rod is you have to get the most distance, you really have to fire it out there. You can't half-ass it with the cast stroke. Okay, let's keep trying. I think we've reached the limit, guys. I'm gonna stick it on 5 again. Okay, the wind's died down. Let's see what happens now. Okay, I think it's not going as far as with the snap swivel, but it's definitely going at least 30 foot. I can cast pretty much almost as hard as I want. I don't have to worry about this spool blowing up. I do have to work on that release point though. Okay, so that snap swivel definitely seemed to add distance. No doubt. Just have to work on that accuracy now. Gonna adjust my release point. There we go. Gotta release it real early. Okay, hopefully you guys can see where that's landing. It looks like probably about 40 foot away. And just really, really consistent. I'm really, really happy how this is performing. Okay, let me see if I can go down on the brakes now. Let's go to 4.5, see what happens. Distance is about the same. Spool still controlled. See an overhead cast. That was bad. This rod definitely does not like overhead. Okay, we're gonna try a modified overhead cast. There we go. Kind of did a, I guess, in between the overhead and the sidearm cast, like 45 degrees. And I got really good accuracy right there. So I think I'm on to something. Okay, not too bad without the snap swivel. Okay, and I think I just broke off my trout magnet. 2-pound line, wow. Let's tie on another. Okay guys, so I tied on another trout magnet, and that break off, I think it happened because I was just casting too hard. It's kind of worrying. So I wonder if there's such a thing as 3-pound line. Because this 2-pound might be a little too weak. Okay, let's start casting again. Okay, so that probably went about a good 35 foot. Okay, let's do that modified overhead sidearm cast, see what happens. Okay, distance definitely seems less than with the snap swivel. But with this combination sidearm overhead cast, the accuracy is a lot better. No spool issues whatsoever. Okay, I'm gonna try to go down just a little bit on the brake, see what happens. Spool still controlled. No effect in distance though. Makes me wonder if I can go down a little bit more. But this is just super easy. Too slow with the thumb there. It's just super easy and super comfortable to cast this little trout magnet. Now with the REVO, probably every other cast would have been a blow up. Okay. So that was with the modified overhead sidearm combo cast. Definitely not getting as far as I am with that snap swivel. It's kind of disappointing, but the distance is still very doable. Probably going at least 40 foot. I think I'm probably losing about almost 10 foot without the snap swivel. But just the ease and castability of this combo is ridiculous. You can definitely go fishing all day with this. Now if it was windy, yeah, that could pose a problem, especially if the wind was coming in your face. Yeah, that is super easy. Okay, I'm gonna try to go down a little bit more, get brave and go down to 4 on the brakes. See what happens. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, yep, spool starting to fluff. Now the great thing about this is that I have plenty of brake left if I needed even more. I was on 4 right there and we can go all the way to 6. With the REVO, I was pretty much maxed out on the brakes. Yep. Turn the brakes up just a little bit. There we go. So I get the best accuracy with that 45-degree overhead cast. Zero problems with the spool. So actually, I'm really pleased. This is just a bare trout magnet, no snap swivel. Okay, so I think you guys seen enough casting what I'm going to do now is I'm going to break out my measuring wheel right out here, even though this is not my normal measuring spot. I'm going to see if I can do about 5 casts to see how far these casts are actually going. But wow, this thing is just firing this trout magnet out there like a normal reel would fire out a 1/4 ounce lure. Very, very impressive. So I'm glad I didn't waste these hundreds of dollars putting this combo together. But it wouldn't have been the first time I've wasted several $100 on fishing equipment that didn't meet my expectations. Okay guys, it's just so fun casting this out there over and over. Okay, let me get the measuring wheel. Okay guys, so just to satisfy my OCD, I came out here to this parking lot and we're actually going to measure how far this trout magnet is really casting. Probably going to do about maybe 5 casts tops, and we'll see what the measuring wheel says. So here we go. Okay, 48 feet 1 inch. You guys can see that. So that's pretty damn good. That's well over 30 foot, which was my target. And almost 50 feet. Okay, let's do one more. "49 feet 3 inches. Damn. Let's see if I can hit 50 foot. Now these are not backlashes, I'm just letting the line out. So when I put the rod in this cone, it doesn't move that trout magnet. Oh, so close. 49 feet 4 inches. Okay, 2 more casts and I'm out of here. Ooh, so close. 49 feet 11 inches. Okay, I'm going to turn these brakes down to just under 4, probably 3 3/4, and let's see what happens. Okay, had a little bit of an overrun there, but not too bad. Okay, so 53.8 feet with a small overrun. So that's pretty damn good. I'm really satisfied with that. And guys, this is a trout magnet without a snap swivel. So let's go home and go over my final thoughts. Okay guys, so as you can see by the video footage, the test run for the Ultimate Bait Finesse combo was a huge success, at least in my opinion. And it met all of the important goals, in my mind, that I set for it. And of course, the first goal was being able to cast this trout magnet, which is less than a gram, a good fishable distance. And in my mind, that was a minimum of 30 feet or 10 yards. And as you can see by the measured footage, I averaged close to 50 foot, and that was with the bare trout magnet. Now if I used a snap swivel, it probably would have been closer to 55 foot average. So it's good to know exactly how far this thing was going, because I'm really bad at estimating distances. But yeah, I was expecting something like 40 foot, but close to 50 foot, that blew my mind. And then of course the castability. Now what I mean by castability is that the way this combo casted this trout magnet is easy as a regular combo would have casted something like a 1/4 ounce lure. And then there's the accuracy. Now of course accuracy is 99% angler skill. And once I got used to doing that combination cast or adjusting my release point, then I could fire this thing out with really good accuracy, and that's going to improve as I use the combo more. And then the last thing is the consistency. Now the REVO LTX was able to cast this lure, but it was really inconsistent, especially with those breaks. As you can see by the footage, I was just casting this over and over with no problems, no overruns or blow-ups. I didn't even have to, stop the spool with my thumb when the lure hit the water. And the only time I had problems was when I was trying to reach the limits of braking and went too low. But once you get it in that, I guess 80% of the brakes, you can just fire cast out all day and not have an issue. So let's talk about what made it possible. Of course, the reel, the ALDEBARAN has what I think are the best brakes for bait finesse. They're not too strong and they're not too weak. But the main components are going to be this ridiculous spool made by Vail. Now this thing really surprised me. I really didn't know what to expect, but it blew my mind at how easy it casted this little lure. And it's a lot stronger than I thought it would be. Now when I put my thumb on the spool and thumb bar, I put a lot of pressure on it before I cast, and I thought that I was going to deform the spool, but as you can see, it held up with no problem. And it actually casts quieter than the normal stock spool, which was a bonus. That's something that annoys me about the stock ALDEBARAN spool, is that it's kind of noisy for being magnetic braked. Now, what's scary is that a Vail can make this spool even lighter. I'm gonna put a picture of what they call their honeycomb spool on the screen for you guys. And yeah, if they did that to this spool here, there's no telling how little it would weigh and how awesome that performance would be. Okay, so let's talk about the rod. Now, of course, the rod is probably equally as important as that spool, and I can tell you this much: when casting a trout magnet, it was all in this tip. The tip was the one doing, I would say, 90% of the casting, and you really have to, do a really forceful cast to be able to get this little lure out there. But it's all on the tip. The rod itself is actually kind of stiff. So that being said, let's talk about what could be improved about this rod, because there are some things that I didn't like about it. And of course, the first thing is this teeny tiny minimalistic little grip here. Now, it looks cool, but literally I couldn't get a good grip to cast as hard as I wanted, because I thought that this combo would fly out of my hand and into the lake. So if Kuying is watching this, in your next iteration of this rod, give us something like this. Give us something, a full grip, it doesn't have to be split. And as you can see, this is made for one-handed casting. Give us that in the next rod. And what you should do is you take the extra length that you chop off the handle and put it on the tip, because no one is going to be two-handed casting this rod. And also, if you make it a moderate fast taper, that would launch this little teeny tiny lure even farther, in my opinion. Okay, so yeah, there we go. Now, of course, you know, this combo is not for everybody. This is only something a true hardcore bait finesse junkie would spend the money on and put together, and of course it wasn't cheap. Everything, when you add it up together, costs about $600. But, you know, that's what bait finesse junkies do. So, the next step, of course, is going to be taking this out and doing some real fishing and catching a fish on it and see how this toothpick of a rod will handle a fish. So I'm going to see if the trout waters have receded where I fish for trout. And if they haven't, I'm going to try to find some kind of creek that has some panfish just to get my first fish on this combo. And of course, I'm going to share that with you guys. Alright guys, there we go. Ultimate bait finesse combo test run is a success. And thanks a lot.